The older you are, the less attractive you are, and it's better not to exhibit your aging. Those who knew me, or who still know me, even myself, I don't like to look at the mirror too often. My look is not me. My look at any stage is a temporary camouflage. My intellect doesn't change. It is my appearance that is deceptive. So, as much as possible, if you want to know me, especially when I'm aging, you should first of all ignore my age, my physical appearance, because it is deceptive. My name is Gabriel Omotayo Oníbọnòjé. I am very proud of my antecedents, my grandfather and my father and my mother and my family. We hail from Ijebu-Jesa in Osun State. I was born under a thatched roof house, and each time the sky darkened, threatening rain, I became equally sad, because if it is in the evening, we would have no place to sleep at night because of the leakages from the thatched roof.
Eégún tí ó jó bí Ile-Ife òsì o, tó bá jẹ́ ti tàtẹ̀wé ọ̀gá ni bàbá mi Oníbọnòjé jẹ́. Láwùjọ gbogbo òǹtẹ̀wé pátápátá, ọ̀gá ni bàbá mi jẹ́. Bàbá mi ọmọ táyọ ooo. Ìjẹ̀bú nílé bàbá tó bí ọlọ́mọ, Ìjẹ̀bú ńlẹ̀ ọmọ èrè níwà. Wọ́n ní bówù Jẹ̀bú àwọn ni ẹni wíníwíní. Bówù Jẹ̀bú àwọn ni ẹni wíníwíní. Wọ́n ní bówù Jẹ̀bú afẹ́ni rẹ̀ tó kù sọdún alágẹmọ, yín lọ́mọ alágẹmọ àbí ìdó wíníwíní. Kò kú sẹ́ni tó gbégún wọgbó bàrà rí ibà, yín ló gbégún wọgbó rẹ̀ mọ́. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ àfijú Jẹ̀bú tí ó fànà ìjà pè náà. Ilé ọmọ aládìrẹ ògógó màgà. Adìrẹ bá lókun aró orókun aró rádìẹ. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ òun ń ṣe ni ọ̀yọ̀yọ̀ ń yọ. Ọ̀yọ̀yọ̀ má yọ̀ mọ́ ohun tí ń ṣe ni ò ní ṣe nípa. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ dúdú ilé tí ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe níjọ́sí. Pupa tọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe òkúkú sí ńlé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ káàárẹ̀ yẹ káàrókò, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ ká tó rókò ọmọ ẹ̀yẹ ti lọ. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ mo ní súnlé wọn máa kúkú lọ́bẹ. Ọ̀bẹ tí ń bẹ ilé láìmọ̀lé bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbó máwọ̀máwọ̀, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbó mádémádé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbó àjòjì gbọ́dọ̀ wọ àjòjì tó bá wọ gbòòrò yọ dẹ̀bọ̀rá ńlé bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Ìran bàbá yín lọ́kọ́ náwó dọ́là kóyìnbó tó dé o. Òyìnbó dé lówó ọ̀hún pọ̀ jọjọ. Oníbọnòjé o, ilé ọmọ ẹlẹ́ǹkùlé àdéwìre. Òsàjé dàbí onílé yìí ní wọ́n fi pé kékeré Jẹ̀bú owó, àgbà Jẹ̀bú owó, dúdú Jẹ̀bú owó, pupa Ìjẹ̀bú owó, kúkúrú Jẹ̀bú owó. Ìjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré tún nìyí o, ẹ̀yin ni Ìjẹ̀ṣà òṣèré onílẹ̀ òbí. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ àtẹnigbọ́lá, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ ẹlẹ́ni ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ̀. Ọmọ àtẹnigbọ́lá nìyí o, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ àgbódòkòrò nímòye díẹ̀díẹ̀ lóbi so lóbi. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ àtẹnigbọ́lá ọmọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ lóbi bá wọn sọ lókìtì ẹ̀fọn. Ìjẹ̀ṣà òkúkú rídì ìṣáná rí ṣe bílé lọ́mọ ẹrú ọwá tí fọ̀n náà ro òrókó. Òkékèké ńlá sọ bàbá yín lóde ìgbàjọ ẹlẹ́gọ̀rọ̀ tí ẹ̀mí lásọ ẹ̀yin Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Èyíkéyìí tó bá rí lọ́jà ní ọ̀rá wá fún mi wálé, kí n ró ń bá ń jólóye nínú ìran bàbá tó bí yín lọ́mọ. Wọn ò kúkú ní jólóye kó dùnrán Ìjẹ̀ṣà láíláí. Ta ni yóò jólóye tí ó dùnrán bàbá yín? Ìran bàbá yín ní ìsìn tòlótò ló ṣe bẹ̀rù bàbá yín ní ìsìn pẹ́pẹ́yẹ. Ìjẹ̀ṣà àkọ́tí kalẹ̀ mọ́ béèrè ọ̀wẹ́. Ilé ọmọ olóbì kan wọ́wọ́ ti wọ́ o, ilé ọmọ olóbì kan wọ̀wọ́ ti wọ̀. Ilé ọmọ olóbì kan òbí kan, èyí tó bá fẹ́ ni àwọ̀ sápò ẹni, èyí tí ó fẹ́ ni a ṣe ìgbé sínú igbó. Ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́yẹ ní kúkú fi jẹ. Ìjẹ̀ṣà dúdú lẹ́gbẹ́ pupa làbúrò. dúdú mo kọ́ fọmọ fún inú bí dúdú ọ̀nà ọmọ tí mo fún mo gbọ́mọ lọ́wọ́ dúdú mo bá fi ìfó pupa ilé ọmọ olókun àdó ilé ọmọ olókun àdó ọmọ olódò dẹ.
So the circumstance under which I was born, I didn't like it. So very early in my life, maybe when I was 3 or 4, just old enough to think, I set myself a target to improve my circumstances. That was how ambition for an improved environment and conditions of living became one of my objectives. I did not accept a destiny of lack. I decided, or I made up my mind and prayed to my God to so improve my situation that never again will I be in want.
Bàbá mi Oníbọnòjé o, orí èèyàn wálé nílé bàbá kọ́ máa ní ti yèyé. Mo ní òní ń bá bá ìdílé yèyé rẹ̀, ìwọ lọmọ olóore o. Ilé ọmọ aláró tó ní mí tó lẹ̀ ẹ̀sìn ẹ̀sọ́ mi yẹ tápọ̀ máa fa mùṣèlú. Oníbọnòjé o, èmi kí babaláwo rojú o nílé yèyé rẹ̀. Mo lábí ti tapà tí ń ṣe ni. Ọ̀rúnmìlà dákun dábọ̀ fi èdénú èmi yá kígùn ìgúnnú rojú kókó àbí ti lábọ̀ tí ń ṣe ni èmi ṣe ti tápà mo ṣègúnnú lákìjọ òsì wọn ọwọ́ bàtà níbi tí nígbé ń ṣe kínní ẹ jẹ́ kíkí ní ọmọ jẹ gbádùn ara wọn. Omi kan bẹ nílé yín omi yàgàn ni omi tá a bá jí kájọ máa fi dára wa lágbá ni òbí ara ìlú odò. Ìwọ lọmọ olóore ọmọ aláró tó ní mi tó lẹ̀ ẹ̀sìn ẹ̀sọ́ mi yẹ tápọ̀ máa fa mùṣèlú. Tápà mo lù gódó mo mú kójó mo yá mú wọlé ọ̀ọ̀yà èrò tè ń gbàwọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ wẹ̀yìn èèyàn wẹ̀yìn wéré ṣe bólúwàrí ò gbọ́dọ̀ wí lé. Agbégunu ò ní gbowó lè yèyé tó bí ọlọ́mọ béèyàn bá ń gbowó olúwarí ò ní gbégunu. Ìlà ọmọ eléégún kòkòrò tó ṣe bí ọ̀gbọ̀dọ̀ dúró lábẹ́ ọ̀dán. Oníbọnòjé orí oríṣi tápà mẹ́ta ní ń bẹ nílé yèyé rẹ̀. Ọ̀tọ̀ kúkú ní tápà tí tarú, ọ̀tọ̀ tún ní tápà tí tẹja, ọ̀tọ̀ tún ní tápà tí gbégunu. Àfíjú tápà ní gbégunu nílé yèyé rẹ̀. Gbogbo yàlèyàlè tó bá yẹ tápà yàlè wá sinmi agbájá torí irú àtúbà àlùbọ́sà àtúbà ìpàtòròǹgà túbá ìpàtòrò tí ó fẹ́ túbá ṣe bí ọ̀tẹ̀tẹ̀ ni ó fi rí yóò fojú rẹ̀ rí mọ̀ bó ọ̀tẹ̀tẹ̀ lẹ́mọ̀ dàgbánú gbégbá kúlíkúlí lérí. Ijó tápà mo lè jó àwẹ̀ tápà mo lè gbà mo ní tó bá di ìbínú tápà wọn ò ní dúró. Oníbọnòjé òkú tápà ní wù mí ọ̀yẹ́lé tápà kì í wé èmi mo ní ṣe bí ń jọ tápà bá kú bàbá yín a ní ń wọ́ owó tùrò òwú wà ní lọ wá fara òyìn wọ́n sì ní ń gbẹ́lẹ̀ lógì ìdò nílé yèyé tó bí ọlọ́mọ. Òtùrò owú sọ̀pọ̀ àfárá òyìn lọ rèé tọ́ wọn gbogbo. Ta ni ó wá bá mi gbẹ́lẹ̀ lógì ìdò nílé yèyé rẹ̀ torí wọn kì í sin tápà níbù òró ni wọ́n sin tápà lókè ọya nílé yèyé tó bí ọlọ́mọ.
I didn't start school until I was 10 years or 9 years. And I had to campaign to be sent to school. My father had 2 wives. He only cared about those who came to the farm to collect food items. He didn't care about our education because it wasn't the style. And you know, in a polygamous house, whatever you do for one wife, you must do for the other. So he didn't bother himself to get involved in schooling. So it was my mother, the mother that is more than all mothers, very enlightened, although not literate. She made sure that she worked hard as a trader in clothes and some food items to gather enough money to send her children of school age and which happened to be my senior sister, Janet Ibido Onibonoje, later Mrs. Johnson, who was born in 1926, and I followed her in 1930. But she had one misfortune. At that time, hygiene was not the concern of many people. We all had sores, at various parts of the body. She seemed to have more than us, and that disturbed our education, disturbed the flow of our education. When I was growing up and I was about 9 to 10 years, I did not like going to the farm. Not that I'm lazy, but I preferred to be sent to school. When you leave our house, immediately you get to the main road. The road to the farm is to the right. The road to school is to the left. So I preferred to go left rather than go right. And I had weak ankles. Each time I trekked from our house to the farm, the following morning I must have aches. So that even was a discouragement for my having to go to the farm. My campaign point, when I was carrying out my campaign to be sent to school, when my parents had visitors, receiving visitors, I would just loiter around and declare, if I pray that God may make it possible for me to be sent to school. If that happens, I will be leading the class, then I will disappear. And true to time, when I was lucky in mid-January 1940, it was after 12 o'clock, after schools have resumed, that my mother, she just returned to me from the market and asked me to follow her. And she took me to school. That was my happiest day. That was the day that determined my destiny. So may our soul rest in perfect peace. And when I was at that school, I met one teacher. His name was J.O. Oyebode, very firm and a disciplinarian. He was always going about with his cane, raised, finding somebody on whom it will descend. So if he asks you any timetable and you miss it, you are visited with a cane. And I hated pain more than I hate any. So he taught me to make an early decision, to choose between doing my job and avoid pain of caning. That taught me the first lesson, that if you want to avoid suffering, you want to avoid pain, be disciplined to do your work. I led the class right from 1940, any class I was. They considered to me, my classmates considered to me the first position. They expect it and they accept it. That was the primary school. I left primary school, St. Mathews School, Ijebu-Jesa, in 1947. I passed the entrance examination to the government college, Ibadan, in 1947, and I reported for interview. And we were lined up at the government college, Ibadan. We were lined up for inspection. So when they got to me, they asked me how old I was. I said 17. Then they asked me how many wives I had. I said I don't have any wife. They turned me back for overage. They were looking for people who were 10, 11, 12. So that was how I missed secondary school. So in 1948, my sister had married and the husband was working in Offa. It was that husband, that my in-law, that found teaching job for me in Offa in 1948. I was posted to Ikotun, some 10 miles from Offa. No road, nothing, just bush path. So I would have to trek every weekend from Ikotun to Offa. So I wasn't 1 month old there. When I slept, I came back from Offa on visit. Sunday night to Monday, I began to stool and have stomach ache. So I had to make a momentous decision to fly on the wing, so to say, to reach safety. So I started to run and fly and so on. 3 miles to Offa. I was tired. I didn't know when I sat down. Before I sat down, my back was on the floor. And before my back came to the floor, I had already started to sleep. Then I just rose up and started the last lap. I had become lean within that weekend. My sister had given birth to a baby. So my mother was in Offa to assist to nurse the new baby. When my mother saw me, she was frightened. So that night, that Monday night, they took me to as many places in Offa as possible to find a cure to my ailment. I was in Ikotun for 6 months. Then luck smiled on me. I was transferred from Ikotun to Erin-Ile to civilization in June 1948. And I was in Erin-Ile till December 1950. I took entrance examination to a teacher training college situated in Ibadan. When I had passed the entrance exam into the teacher training college here in Ibadan, they call it Archdeaconry Teachers Training College. Where the whole of Ibadan was an archdeaconry. From Lagos to Lokoja was Lagos Diocese. At the entrance exam from Lagos to Lokoja, the result showed that I led in the exam. So and when I entered the St. Louis College for the teachers grade 3, 1951 and 1952, when I was there, I also led the class. So I left in December 1952. I was posted to Ile-Ife in Osun State to become the headmaster of St. Philip's, Ayetoro. I did my best and my success filtered around the town as a performer. By 1950, that's 53 and 54, 55 and 56, I came back to the teacher training college for my teacher's grade 2. When I was in Ife, I sat for the GCE London ordinary level, and I cleared 6 subjects before I entered for the teacher training college for grade 2. That was 55 and 56. So I was appointed to be a teacher in 57 and 58 at the modern school opposite the teacher training college, St. Louis College, Ibadan Grammar School. So I was there 57 and 58. And that was when I discovered the opportunity to be an author of what I taught. History, civics, geography, English, mentioning. There were no books. So I wrote the books and published them. And in September 57 and 58, I passed my A-level subjects. So I was a fit material for admission to Ibadan University in 1958, where I got direct entry. But between 58, before I went to the university, the books that I wrote, that I authored and published, sold throughout the Western region and I became a quote millionaire before I entered university. My second year at the university, the business that I combined with studies at the university diverted a lot of my attention. I divided my attention between study and trading. I now bought a car to be able to cover the whole of the Western region, to advertise my books and earn more money. And I didn't even know the difference between a Mercedes-Benz and a Peugeot or Volkswagen. So when I was riding the Mercedes-Benz, people would turn their attention to me. So I had to ask them, what is happening? Why are they turning their attention to me? Then he told me, look, you are riding a rich man's car. I didn't know. If I knew, I would not have chosen it. So people will now stop me and say, look, what are you doing at the university? Resign from there. After all, you already have money. Then a juju band wax a record in my praise. Onibonoje dolowo, Onibonoje te Oloma. This is danger, havoc. So I had to work hard. It was a choice between early fame or lasting fame. I couldn't be a student and the record would be waxed in my praise in front of the treasure hall. People would stop me and ask me to quit the university because I already had money. I would look up and down. I would reply them, look, ọ̀tọ̀ ni iye owó, ọ̀tọ̀ ni iye ìwé, I will continue. So I continued till 1961 and I got my degree record time. I graduated in BA General, 3 subjects combination, history, religious studies, and political science. I wanted to know man as a creature and why they showed interest in religion, in politics, and I want to know their background. And I'm still working hard at it. You see, these early temptations that would have diverted me was a kind of temptation that I had to overcome in order to get a mission. The mission, my family, to raise the standard, to improve the economy of my family, to do my work so well that it is the only insurance against suffering. I passed out. Then I came back to St. Luke's College after finishing from UI. June 1961, I became one of the masters. And in fact, in fairness to them, they had identified me as a material for the priesthood. But strangely enough, at the time I was in St. Luke's, that was 1961, 62, that would be 31, 32 years of age. My business has spread all over the Western region, and I was torn between the career and trading. But earlier in 1957, I had made up my mind to be an independent person, that salary earning is not my lot. I cannot get anywhere. I should choose a piece of job that will make me as rich, as hard as I can work. While I was in the St. Luke's College, a seminar was organized for us from the university in UK and California, US. I happened to be one of the participants. I didn't know they were noticing me. So at the end of the seminar, I was nominated for a scholarship for masters in Sheffield for 1 year and California for another year for my PhD. I was given the offer and it constituted a kind of test of my ability to make a choice, a difficult choice. And the choice I made was towards self-employment, self-reliant. My mother, if I left for Sheffield in the UK and California, US, I may not find her when I come back. I had to think of her. I had to pay her back for her efforts. Secondly, my budding publishing career. I will not come back to find it. Somebody would have taken my slot. And the best I could become is the VC of a university where my stint before retirement cannot be higher than 35 years or 60. It was a difficult decision for me to make. But when I finally chose, I chose to remain in Nigeria, to slot my every effort towards upholding the family, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, and my budding career in publishing. So the offer that I was given to Banjo, Ayo Banjo, who again rose to the position of Vice Chancellorship. It was an opportunity meeting preparation, which is called good luck. I was in need, 1957, as a tenant at Bode. I had only one shot and one shirt because of the responsibility that I've referred to. So I needed that money. I needed the opportunity to write, to flog my energy, to meet the needs of the moment. So that was opportunity. Preparation was my realization, non-acceptance of pain, of suffering.
Can you tell us about the publishing landscape at independence era, juxtaposing with the military era and then post-1999 era? So who were the players? Who were the major players?
Okay.
And then what are the challenges that happened in the whole publishing space?
Now, when I left St. Luke's College, I had a stint briefly at the Ibadan Boys High School. Then, when I was a part-time teacher at Ibadan Boys High School in 1964, the seminar, which I declined the offer of, to go to Sheffield and California. Sometime in the same year, when I left, when I was still teaching, there is one organization called Franklin Book Programs. That is an American organization. Nigeria had just become independent in 1960. So most of the other states were willing to help Nigeria to develop. So they came to Nigeria, they were looking for somebody that they could offer a chance to go to the US to see publishing there. So somebody nominated me and they gave me the offer. So I had to travel to Boston in October 1964. I was there for about 3 or 4 months, which I also used as an opportunity to tour Europe when on my return to Nigeria. So there, what that experience showed me is that publishing is a world union of intellectuals, respectable profession for respectable people. It opened the vista of a career that is enviable. In fact, it was there in America that I was named publisher. That was my christening. On my way back from the US, I branched to the UK. Longmans offered me an appointment to come and start their business in Nigeria. I declined because I already become an indigenous publisher. So I came back, christened and evangelized as a publisher. So the first place I went was Oxford House, Dugbe, where Oxford University Press had Reverend Sholaru as their representative. I went and preached Nigerian publishing to Reverend Sholaru as the Oxford representative in Nigeria. There was no Macmillan, there was no Evans, there was nothing. There were Fakule in Osogbo, who tried his hands on publishing. He was too old to venture further than he had gone. Cambridge also was in Nigeria at that time. Oxford, Cambridge, Nelson also was. They were publishers' representatives.
Okay.
But I was the first truly indigenous publisher who also accept to be so-called and proud, because it was a case of opportunity, meeting, preparation, which is called good luck. If I had tried what I tried in the 60s, if I had tried it in the 50s, I would have ended in prison under the colonial regime, because their duty is to suppress any indigene that is trying to show some initiative. I predicted it, that domestic production is the only safety valve. An import-oriented nation is doomed.
So you said you pitched something to Reverend Sholaru?
Yes.
Okay, so
that was what led to our forming the Nigerian Publishers Association.
So and who was the first president?
Sholaru, of course.
Sholaru, okay. And did you eventually become the president at any point?
Yes, I became president in, I think, 66, 67. I think 70. Yes, after, no, not directly after Reverend Sholaru. Some other people became president, but eventually, by 1969, during the Civil War, I became president for 2 terms.
What was the unique thing that happened to the publishing landscape during the military era?
The economy was enjoying a boom in the petroleum market worldwide. I remember in 1973 or so, when OPEC was formed, it became a threat to the developed world because we were selling oil. Oil was raining in the market. We had more money than we could manage. Government was encouraged to set up so many organizations. You know, the money was there to fund all such something. And publishing became the beneficiary because free education at the state and at the federal and so was in vogue. Then when immediately after they started to ask the military to go, like the era of Bola Ige, Ajashi, and so on, there was still plenty of funds to carry on, you know, to satisfy the needs of most Nigerians. That was the golden era of publishing until there was a bust in the world economy.
What were your efforts at promoting indigenous books and writers, and what were the challenges?
I came into publishing with all that I had. I had to start from the real start. I became the author, the publisher, the bookseller, promoter, trying to advertise myself to those who care. I was almost like a nuisance. If I identify you, if I need a book, I will study the syllabus, I would approach you, I will assess you, I will make you an author. Then those my brothers that are sponsored, that are labored to train, some of them were coming out of the university. I recruited them as my managers and directors, and they are still are.
Did you get challenges from the foreign publishers representatives?
Of course, I was a target. They wanted to see me out. And in fact, Macmillan, when Macmillan came, I was then at opposite Mapu Hall. That was where my office is. Mr. K and Mr. Nunlopo, the Nigeria representative, came to my office and they wanted to buy me off. And I didn't know that they had already published a rival title of my bestsellers. So they wanted to pay me off and go and destroy my stuff in order to pave way for their own. But I stood my ground. I believed in what I was doing. Evans, under Backout, came to me and offered me very rosy career. At the end of the encounter, when he would not let me sit in peace, I had to tell him that he should go back, value all their assets and their liabilities, and I will pay them. If he so much believes in me as the only star that he wanted. The authors that I worked with were people who needed me at the time I identified them. Take those who come from Ekiti, where they are holding the election today. Take Mr. S.A. Dada, principal of African Grammar School, More Plantation. When he joined us, his dreams became fulfilled. They had always wanted to build their houses, to own their buildings, especially from where they hail from. We will pay them, take people like Oelawa, take people like Adelusi, take people like Daramola, Daramola, take people like even Awoniyi, take people like, mention them. We kept records of their sales and paid them. And they all went and bought land, commissioned buildings, opened them. So ìjọ kan tí mo láti lọ sí Èkìtì, tá a ní ṣíṣe mẹ́, I didn't know that people had already advertised me and linked me with the development that they have succeeded in their own localities. People were coming to cite me as a person. If you join him, you will build houses. If you join them, you will change your car. So it was a household phenomenon.
What happened to Onibonoje Press and Publishing?
It's a combination of enabling factors on the one hand, and on the other hand, disabling, enabling. You cannot have positive without having the negative. That's where becoming a stargazer to know when the ovation is loudest. If you don't know when to quit, you stand the chance of losing all your gains. In 2009, I clocked 79, and I was looking at 2010 when I clocked 80. Just by mere intuition, I sized up myself and reasoned that unless I took care, I stood the risk of dying at my desk, and discovered it was work, 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 no rest. I had lost the support of all the important people with whom we grew up. I was watching the credit and the debit closely like a cat watching a rat. So the decision was clear. It is time for me to rethink. The cost of production was rising by the minute, and the market was suffering from, call it whatever, mismanagement. The government, state, federal, their budget was dwindling.
When did you move here to this site?
1963.
1963.
That's 59 years ago, to be 60 years next February.
60 years next February?
Yes, February 20.
That was when you started work here?
Yes.
Why don't you hand the business over to the family to continue managing, since you had children?
Man proposes, God disposes. People adjudge the shoe that I'm wearing to be so large that it will become an oversize for them. If there's anybody who is trying to venture, and we find somebody who will say, má tẹra ẹ o, má tú àṣírí ara ẹ o. Ṣé o lè jẹ́ kí ojú ẹ rí nǹkan tí ojú bàbá yẹn rí?
Irọ́ ni wọ́n ń pa, Yorùbá ò lè parun. Èké ni wọ́n ń ṣe, Yorùbá ò lè parun. Àtẹ́lẹwọ́ làbálà, ṣèbádẹ́dá ló kọ́ ọ. Irọ́ ni wọ́n ń pa, Yorùbá ò lè parun. Orúkọ mi ni Ibrahim Ọ̀rẹ́dọ́lá. Mo jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn olùtukọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ Àtẹ́lẹwọ́, níbi tí a ti ń ṣe ìgbélárugẹ àti ìdàgbàsókè èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá. Ògbóǹtarìgì jẹ́ iṣẹ́ tí a gbé kalẹ̀ láti lè bá mú ìdàgbàsókè bá lítírésọ̀ Yorùbá, níbi tí a ti ń ṣe àfihàn àti àmì ẹ̀yẹ fún àwọn ògbóǹtarìgì tí wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ lórí ìdàgbàsókè lítírésọ̀ Yorùbá, yálà gẹ́gẹ́ bí òǹkọ̀wé, àbí gẹ́gẹ́ bí atẹ̀wétà, àbí gẹ́gẹ́ bí olùkọ́ èdè Yorùbá. Iṣẹ́ yìí náà ni a gbé kalẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àtìlẹ́yìn Goethe-Institut. Àfojúsùn wa fún iṣẹ́ yìí òun náà ni pé kí ó jẹ́ àríkọ́ṣe fún àwọn ọ̀dọ́ tí ó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn, láti lè bá jẹ́ kí wọ́n ní ìmísí rere, kí àwọn náà bá fi lè máa ṣe agbátẹrù àti láti máa ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìgbélárugẹ èdè àti àṣà wa. A tún ṣe iṣẹ́ yìí náà láti lè bá jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn mọ àwọn bàbá àti màmá wọ̀nyí tí wọ́n ti ṣe iṣẹ́ ribiribi fún ìdàgbàsókè èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá. Àtẹ́lẹwọ́ ẹni kì í tan ní jẹ, kí èdè Yorùbá má bàa parun. Àjọṣe gbogbo wa náà ni. Òun náà ló jẹ́ kí àwa máa ṣe nǹkan tí apá wa ká. Àárọ̀ wa kí gbogbo wa kí a ṣe agbátẹrù, ká gbáwọ́jọ láti lè bá gbé èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá lárugẹ. Tí ẹ̀yin bá ní iṣẹ́ tí ẹ fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a jọ ṣe papọ̀, àbí tí ẹ fẹ́ tì wá lẹ́yìn fún àwọn iṣẹ́ lọ́kàn-ò-jọ̀kan tí à ń ṣe láti lè bá fi gbé èdè àti àṣà Yorùbá lárugẹ, ẹ jọ̀wọ́ ẹ má ṣàláì kàn sí wa ní www.atelewo.org, àbí kí ẹ pè wá sí orí ẹ̀rọ 07061282516.